So it is very surprising actually to know that there are 300 billion emails are sent every day, and that is more than the number of social media posts on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Google searches combined. So, and out of those 300 billion emails every day, as per different estimates, 50 to 70% of those emails are sent from businesses to their users. And that is very logical as well, because if you see in the technical world, all the businesses are dependent on email to sign up their users. And once the user has left the website or app, email is the only channel to communicate with them.
Hello everyone, Ashok here. Thank you for tuning in to the 7th episode of Indian Startup Stories. Today, our guest is Aqib Rahman, CEO, co-founder of Mailmodo, an email marketing platform which helps businesses create interactive emails, including apps and widgets inside an email. In this episode, Aqib talks about his schooling, background, interests in marketing SaaS products, how his company's services increase customer interactions for businesses, curiosity in exploring Google's native product in email marketing, instances of bringing funding during pandemic from angel investors and mentors, how he formed the founding team starting at the idea phase, customer success stories with respect to increased customer conversion at the rate of 2.5x, COVID impacts and dynamics, plans for scaling the business, what could go wrong during early days, challenges in employee to entrepreneur transition, family support, current innovations in email marketing, and much more. So let's jump in. Hi Aqib, thank you for coming on to Indian Startup Stories today. Welcome.
Hi Ashok, thank you for inviting me here. I'm really thankful to you.
My pleasure. Please share about your background, your studies, and how did you start your career, Aqib?
So I belong to Bihar. My hometown is Purnia. However, I have like switched a lot between Purnia and Patna, between the houses of my grandparents. And my I did my schooling in Patna, and then I did my BTech from IIT ISM Dhanbad. I was a mining machinery engineer there. After engineering, I directly went to IIM Ahmedabad for doing my MBA. And after that, I have been working at various startups, including iProf, Cardeco, ClearTax, in the marketing field. So when I started after doing job after IMA, that time digital marketing was not that great, but I fortunately I got into it at the moment when it was all starting in India, and startup culture was also booming, and so I started doing digital marketing for startups. So and since I was a quick learner that time, as I don't know now, but at that time I was a quick learner. So I picked it really fast, and it helped me grow well. And so I was my last job was with ClearTax. I left there in 2018. After that, I was helping few growth and early stage startups uh, in setting up their digital marketing function, team, and processes. And after that, last year in 2020, around January, February, I, along with Devesh Tandon, started Mailmodo.
Nice. Please tell us something about Mailmodo. What's the product? Who are your customers?
Sure. So, Mailmodo is an email marketing platform which helps businesses create interactive emails. By interactive emails, I mean they can add forms, calendar, shopping cart, and different kinds of app-like widgets inside the email itself. So, till now, if you see emails are, you would say quite boring, because they're just text, images, and links. A user has to click on a link, go to a landing page, wait for the landing page to load, log in there, and click on several other things to complete desired action, right? But now with mail modo, the user will be able to do all of that inside the email itself without leaving the inbox. So the
Okay.
concept is that people use email when they are like traveling, when they are in a lift, when they are eating food, or even in meetings, right? They don't have that kind of time or attention span to do a lot of stuff. So, but if things can be done inside the email itself, the response rate would increase. So that's why what we pitch to our customers.
Okay, nice. So how did it all started? The ideation and the moment of spark for email marketing products?
Okay, so I always wanted to start something of my own, and I had a target of that I will do job for 5 years and finish my all my financial commitments. After that, I will start. So I had some education loan, etc., and I had to finish all of that. So when I left my job, I was in a thinking mode that time that what should I start. So I kept going on around different ideas, discussing with other people, trying different things, experimenting as well. So my focus narrowed down to two things. One, that I wanted to do something with SaaS because I have a firm belief in growing a SaaS business from India for a global audience. So I believe that in the next this decade, uh, India will be known for its SaaS businesses and global SaaS
Yeah,
businesses.
sure.
So that's why I have focused on the SaaS business part. The second part was I wanted to do marketing SaaS because of my background. I believe that I understand marketers very well because I am a marketer myself, and I believe that I will be able to create an amazing product in marketing. So that's why my focus narrowed down to marketing SaaS. And when I was evaluating various ideas, I came across a video by Google. So Google launched something called AMP for email. So AMP for
Right.
email is a new technology that enables all kinds of API integration, interactivity, and different new things inside email. So uh, I went deep into it and I tried it myself, but I found that this is too technical. Most marketers are not that technical, and they will not be able to use it, even though it is a like amazing technology. As a marketer, I was very excited. So I tried to find out more about it, and I realized that this is meant for developers, and for marketers to adopt it, it needs to be simplified. And that's
Mm.
how Mailmodo started as a no-code email marketing platform where marketers themselves can create an interactive emails by using drag and drop tools, and they can send it without any technical headache. So that's how it started.
Nice. So, how is the general customer acceptance in terms of agreeing for email marketing? Doesn't the customer, be it B2B or B2C, don't they consider email marketing is outdated compared to the level of other social media engagement platforms that we have?
Okay, so it is very surprising actually that to know that there are 300 billion emails are sent every day, and that is more than the number of social media posts on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Google searches combined.
That's huge.
So, and out of those 300 billion emails every day, as per different estimates, 50 to 70% of those emails are sent from businesses to their users. And that is very logical as well because if you see in the technical world, all the businesses are dependent on email to sign up their users. And once the user has left the website or app, email is the only channel to communicate with them, right? So that's the reason why email become very critical for a marketer to talk to their customers, and it becomes a two-way interaction as well at several times, right? So I would not say that email is outdated. So email, I would say that if you see other technologies like web technology, app technology, there has been so much evolution in the last decade. Earlier, it
Yeah.
started with all HTML, CSS, then PHP came, Java came, JavaScript came. Now there is React, Angular, Vue.js, and so many new technologies are still coming, right? But if you
Hmm.
see emails are the same as you could see 20 years ago or 10 years ago as well, right? There has been no
Yeah.
evolution, and that's why it makes us feel that okay, email is becoming boring or not people are not interested in. But overall, the utility of email is not going down. Every day, more email IDs are being created, more emails are being sent, and it is growing. And it is being said from like last few years that email is going to be dead. Dead. Companies like Slack, etc., are trying to kill email, but they have not been able to. Right? People do use email. People also use Slack, but people use other communication channel. But email has not lost its importance even now.
Right, right. So, any customers that you tried convincing that they are not ready to buy the same thought process that generally most of the customers have? Any customer still insists that let's opt for a different formula rather than email?
Our customers are those people who want to increase the conversion of email marketing, their email marketing channels. So our customers are ultimately those people who know that they need to use email marketing for their business.
Mm.
So our customers are like, we are in a B2B business. Our customers are companies who send emails to their users to take some action or to inform them, etc. So now these customers that whom we are target, they want to improve their conversion rate, they want to improve their response rate and ROI from email marketing, and that's why they choose us. So in a way, we
Right.
are already filtered out those companies who are using email marketing as their one of the channels, and they are looking to improve the ROI from that channel, and we are helping them there.
Oh, great. Akweb, your company is very young, and I'm sure right now you must be going through a lot of peaks, challenges. And can you please speak on few instances and how are you addressing them? Who is helping, and how did you handle the situation?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So, unfortunately, I have been being helped by a lot of people. So, over the years of my career, I actually got so many mentors and friends in the startup world. And additionally, I we also raised an angel round, and we raised this round from a lot of founders of different companies. So they also help a lot because they share their experiences. Um, they tell us what they have already faced, right? So these investors who believed in us, and other people who have been in my friend circle who have acted as mentors before as well, they have been helping us a lot. And fortunately, I have got different types of people in my circle: marketers, non-marketers, technical people, sales people. So having a good network in the startup world actually helps us a lot.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah. So these days, students have more options and time to build their skills via online courses, e-portals, and YouTube videos a lot.
Hmm.
Compared to working professionals, some start their business even when they are studying.
Hmm.
Any such instances you have come across which you got inspired or admired from?
Yeah, so I have a feeling that if somebody wants to start a business, they definitely should. However, it is also not necessary that everybody should start a business, and there's a FOMO as well in the market that okay, everybody needs to start a business, but that's not true. Even in a company, and you can grow well if you are doing if you are dedicatedly doing your work. And but if you're passionate about something, you should definitely do that. And if you even if you're college, it is worth trying to do your own business, and you start something of your own, and like learn from it. So probably when you do it, do something on your own, you learn a variety of things compared to when you do something in a job. So when you go to a job, it also depends from job to job, actually. But when you go to a job in a large corporate, you will be probably doing one thing at a time. But when you are starting up, even now, for after years of experience, when I'm starting now, I used to mainly do digital marketing, product analytics before, but now I also have to do HR role. I also need to do finance role. I now also need to talk to other people, do sales role, etc. Right? So if you are doing that all that in your college, itself.
Mm,
It becomes a huge learning path for you. So I feel that if you are passionate about something and if you have an idea, it is worth giving it a try.
okay, yeah, it improves their leadership quality as well. Nice.
Yeah.
Coming to the starting initial phase, you mentioned that you discussed with your co-founder and you started from there. So how was the initial moment? Like, you started thinking about the idea individually, then you collaborated with your co-founder and started, or you had a mutual idea? Can you talk about that instances of how it all started and how did you form the team?
Sure. So, yeah, so this idea came when I was in a I was in a mostly in ideation stage, and initially there was a research phase that went into, and then there was a phase of limbo as well. But then I started working with Devesh on this idea. We discussed and we thought that this is a great idea. So that time we started working on that, and then so I initially the first co-founder was Devesh, and then Apurv. Apurv is my college senior, and he also got interested in the idea, and he also joined me as a co-founder. So for a few months, Devesh and I were working on this idea, and then we also hired a few interns to work with us. So and after that, Devesh joined, and we raised funding, and then we built the team. So that's how the team building has. So now we are a 10-member team. So we both have like technical people as well as business side people. So that's how it all went.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. So, how did you manage the funding in the initial days? You said you approached the investors. Can you talk about any specific instances? How were you able to manage that experience, please?
Okay, sure. So for us, we started looking for funding during the pandemic when everything was locked on and investors were skeptical about the economy. So it was initially a bit difficult, but I reached out to my connections and was looking for angel investment, like a very small round investment, because we needed to build a team, and for to building a team, we needed some funding in our account. So I reached out to few people. So initially, um, I got a lot of no's. So, but when there are few people who agreed as well, and when they agreed, they brought a lot of other people who would invest in our company. So I have got a like a nose from a lot of people, but then there were people who believed in our idea, in our team, and they invested in us. So it was a long process. It went for like 2 3 months for the money to finally came in our account, but that was worth the effort, because that gave us a lot of clarity about what kind of business we want to build, how do we want to build, how do we want to structure the team, etc. So it was worth the effort, and it actually ended very well.
Okay, that's nice. Good experience. And can you talk about your customer success stories? What is your pride moment to be part of their journey,
Hmm.
and any first moment of relief since Mailmodo's inception?
Sure. So when initially we started, started with a hypothesis that this kind of interactive emails will increase the conversion rate of email marketing. So, because the hypothesis is based on the fact that the number of steps for any kind of action would be reduced if we bring the whole application within the email itself. However, we didn't have any proof for that. So we actually pitched to a lot of clients that time, but because we didn't have any product, etc. at that time, most people were like not agreeing to it. So eventually, the team at Razorpay agreed to what we were building, and they were actually looking for experimenting with a AMP emails. So they agreed, and they subscribed to us for 1 month, and they said that we will do 3 email campaigns and we'll test it. So they sent normal old HTML emails and AMP emails in equal proportion, and they used it for one NPS campaign and then one churn campaign, and they got for the NPS result they got 250% extra conversion, higher conversion than the normal HTML email. So that actually proved our hypothesis that okay, at a scale we should be able to got almost uh, 2.5x higher conversion than in normal email, and that's a big deal in marketing in terms of ROI. So and then so that was the first moment of relief as well as excitement for us because we saw our idea getting validated. After that we experimented the same things with other clients as well, and we got similar or better results actually. So yeah, I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a good number. And coming to the scaling factor of 2.5x or 3x, that's good one. So, how COVID has impacted you? What are the big changes you see for yourself and also for your company? Because you have started exactly when the COVID has hit,
Hmm.
and you managed it to pull it through. So, please talk about that experience.
COVID has both bad and good effect on our business. Talking about the bad effect would be that because of the COVID thing, a lot of investors, etc., were very skeptical at that time in investing in a new business. So that actually delayed our funding processes, etc. But if you look on the positive side, it actually helped a lot in terms of saving cost for in acquiring initial customers. So what used to happen pre-COVID is that people were expecting to meet you and see your team and then buy any product. But now we are able to sell products online just through video meetings. So for us, it is saving both time and money because we don't have to go to everyone's company's offices, and now we are able to sell them online within a few minutes. We are able to like show them the benefit, etc., and we get a yes or no very quickly without investing a lot of uh, effort, time, or money on any particular client. So it has both the benefits. Now it also enables because we are looking at a global audience. We don't have to set up offices in every country. We can be in India. We can sit in Bangalore and can sell to a person in Silicon Valley as well.
Yeah, considerable amount of the running the business has cut down. So that's a
Yeah.
big thing. Yeah. So you are helping multiple customers to scale their business, getting more customers for them.
Hmm.
Wanted to know how did you scale your business?
Okay, so we are not a high scale level yet. We started selling to customers in around November, and we have got a good number of customers now. Till now, during the initial phase, uh, it is mostly direct selling to people, direct pitching them, showing them the benefit, and uh, and doing a like manual campaigns for them. So like Paul Graham said, like at the initial stage you need to do things that don't scale. So we have been doing exactly that. We have been
Mhm.
talking to people in our connections in our network and asking them, hey, can you introduce us to this and this company? We see that there's a potential use case for them, and then they introduce us and then they connect and pitch to them. Other than that, we try to use email marketing itself to reach out to people, and we show them the benefit of our product inside the email itself. So that is another way of getting customers for us. Beside that, we have been quite active on LinkedIn and using that as a platform to acquire new customers. But in
Okay.
future, we want to like diversify our marketing channels, and we will be focusing on two main aspects of marketing. One is content marketing, and second is outbound marketing through LinkedIn and email. So these two will be the channels that we will be using for scaling up.
Okay, nice. So currently more of a using existing professional community. Nice. Do you recommend students to get a job, work, and then think about business, or you recommend to have a business mindset before starting work in any company and be a part of a corporate life?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, it is not necessary that everyone should do a business. But like you described business mindset, I think that everyone should have a business mindset, whether they do a business or not, whether they are an employee or an employer. They should have a business mindset. There should be certain amount of work ethics and love for your work. So people say that do what you love, and but there is another thing that love what you do. So so both are true actually. You should do what you love, and but you should also love what you do if you're not able to do what you love. So I would go with that saying actually, yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah.
true, true. So, what could go wrong in the initial stage of any entrepreneurial journey?
A lot of things can go wrong, right from the team you are building, that can go wrong. The idea you have started, that can go wrong. Um, you can get out of cash available to you. That is a like a very possible reason to like a situation that you can get into when you are starting a business. But the most important thing would be that you create a good team. If you have a good team who can support you in both good days and bad days, then you will be able to crack your business or scale your business to a good height. So getting the right team, I would say, would be the most important thing when you are starting the any kind of business.
Okay. So, how do you stay calm during a day of chaos?
So I don't like do anything actively or extra to stay calm. But yeah, so when I get very stressed out, I basically switch off my digital assets, my laptop, mobile, etc., and try to think about the solution of the problem that is causing the stress. Otherwise, I take a moment and basically I stay silent or alone for some time, and that helps me in resolving whatever is causing the problem.
Okay, that's nice. So, one important quality that any budding entrepreneur should have.
That is a difficult question, but I feel that any kind of entrepreneurship comes with a lot of responsibility. That you are responsible to your customers, your employees, your investors, etc. And it takes a lot of stress to do that actually, because nobody cares about you, but you have to care about everyone. So it's something I would say like one would be like you need to have very high ownership, that whatever you do, you would do in the best way possible, and you will own your own mistakes, your team's mistakes, etc. And you will own the future and the work of everybody in your team. So having a high ownership is very important. Second thing that I think that you should have is high resilience, because you will be facing different kinds of situation in your day-to-day startup life, and if you're not patient, if you're not resilient to what you're doing, you will give up very soon. So these two qualities I think that every entrepreneur should have.
Okay, nice one. So, did you have any challenges in transitioning from employee to entrepreneur, or because it was all well aligned with your digital marketing experience and your previous company experiences? So, any challenges you faced in the transition?
Of course, there are challenges because when you are employee, you are probably owner of one function at max. I at ClearTax, I was heading marketing. I was mainly responsible for what marketing team is doing. But as an entrepreneur, especially when the company is very young, you have to do marketing, sales, product, uh, HR, finance, everything, right? To sometime even if you have to bring tea for your employees, right? So yeah, that is a bit challenging because you need to learn very fast all of that. If not, you will be left behind.
Right. And how did your family react when you said you're going to start a business of your own?
There was a period when I left my job and did nothing, uh, not even started. So my family was supportive actually. So my family has been supportive of all my decisions till now. They had apprehensions, of course, that this is a high-paying job. Why are you leaving the job? What will you do, etc., etc. And I said that I will do something. I don't know, but I will do something.
Yeah,
But for a very long time, I didn't start any business, so they were getting concerned. Okay, that you have left the job, but you haven't started anything. So why are you doing that? But eventually, now they are happy that okay, our company is in has got some direction.
that's nice. And for any suggestions do you have for young people who have big ideas and afraid to begin with?
I would say just do it. A lot of people, like including me, we have a lot of ideas, but we are always afraid to take the plunge and do it, right? So that is the case. That has been the case with me as well, because I come from a modest background, and money is also always money has always been a concern during my early days as well. In my case, it was different. Like after I got the job, etc., I had a plan actually, that like I initially said that I had a 5 year plan, that I need to do jobs for 5 years to get out of my financial liabilities, and then I will start something of my own. However, during this time, I made sure that my cost of living don't increase, so I don't live a lavish life. And like even after when I was doing a job, etc., my costs were very controlled, and like it was quite normal. So I was able to save money, invest money, and like save for future as well. So for me, starting after all these years was not actually difficult from a financial perspective. For people who are afraid, I would say that it is okay to be risk averse, but if you want to start something, you should start, plan for it, maybe take a few months or years, save money, or like sort things out to, but do it. Don't keep waiting.
Good advice. So what keeps you motivated in your daily life?
I would say that I always want to build something. I always want to do something of my own, and I always like problem solving. So
Mhm.
when I come across problems, it actually motivates me. Okay, this is something interesting. I need to solve it. Until the time I solve it, I don't like stay calm. So probably that is the motivation. Problems are the motivation. So as an entrepreneur, we face problems like every day. Something has happened. Some firefighting keeps going on, right? So
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
if if they are not there, I will be bored. Uh, so new challenges keep me motivated.
Okay, you keep your passion as the driving force. Nice.
Yeah.
So Akib, you have good experience in digital marketing as an employee,
Hmm.
and you studied in reputed institutions in India.
Hmm.
What are the some of the mistakes that you make? Wanted to understand like the aspects that could go wrong, even for a person coming with a very good pedigree and with a very good tag.
Uh, for people who are coming from a privileged background in terms of like from family or pedigree or college education, etc., the one thing that can go wrong would be being complacent. So if you are like complacent, you will not be willing to do something new. You will not be willing to take a risk, or you will not be willing to try anything that can become big. You will not be willing to take risk. So I think that is something that you should be avoid. You should be always hungry to do something new, something amazing, something big. The like APJ Abdul Kalam said, making a small dream is a sin. So you should keep dreaming big. You should not be complacent, even you are from a privileged background.
Okay, yeah, dream big. Good one. So, can you talk about any specific innovations that are going in email marketing now, and what's your vision? How do you see that will actually shape up in future?
Yeah, so the thing that we are working on right now, right? So this AMP whole AMP email thing, and it is actually evolving every time that Google is updating is continuously, and other email clients, including Yahoo, Mail.ru, etc., have already started adopting it, and more email clients are planning to adopt it as well. So this technology is actually quite innovative. So let me like give you some examples. So for example, right now if you go to an e-commerce store and you leave certain item in the cart, now the e-commerce store sent you an email ki, hey Ashok, here is a 10% discount, would you like to purchase? But right now you will have to click on the link, copy the coupon code, go to their website, wait for the page to load, log in, and do all the steps, paste the coupon code, etc. again, and then purchase, right? But with with AMP emails and with like platforms like Mailmodo, you can actually do all that inside the email itself. Um, uh, you can apply the coupon code, you can reduce, increase quantity, add your address, etc., within the email itself. So now the email becomes your shopping website. So what I see as a next phase of growth in this direction is that there will be a lot of apps inside email in future. So people will be doing shopping inside email. People will be running courses on email. People will be conducting quiz or creating calculators and doing so many things inside. So everything that you see that there are different businesses or different apps right now, they will be happening email inside email. So the future is of apps within email.
That's interesting. Nice. So, moving on to the next part of this episode, rapid fire round. I've just listed down some of the questions. Let me bring it on.
Sure.
What is the best thing that happened this month to you?
So we closed a very large Indonesian client this month, and they have got onboarded. And right now, actually, they are bringing almost 50% of our total revenue alone.
That's a big share. Nice. So, your favorite leader whom you follow?
That's a very difficult question. So I don't have affinity to one particular person as such. But I follow mostly people in the business world and the tech world, not politicians or celebrities. So most of the people I follow, most people don't even know the name of. But I regularly follow different people in the tech and startup world.
Okay, you have a big spectrum.
Yeah.
Nice. So, your one childhood activity you still like to do and you have it.
As a child, I used to play a lot of board games, and I still play a lot of board games. And I keep trying new board games. So I love doing that, and I think
Mhm.
that it helps a lot in improving your logical thinking, etc. as well. So board games is my pick of the lot of the one thing that I used to do as a child. I still like to do.
Okay, that's nice. So, what does creativity means to you in a sentence?
So for me, creativity is a thought process different from everyone else. So if you are able to think about something, about any situation, about any topic, etc., in a different way that other people cannot think of, that is creativity.
Okay, how do you start your day?
Like my morning start with mostly with a calendar, that what all do I have to do today. And so I maintain, so first of all there are meetings which are fixed, and then I list on all the work that I have to do beside my meetings, and then I point them on my calendar that okay, this from this time to this time I will finish this work, from this time to this time I will finish this work, etc. And that's how I plan my whole day, and I try to stick to my calendar.
Okay, nice. You start with the planning. Good one. So, an article or book you read recently and you liked it?
I keep reading a lot of articles actually. I don't read much books because reading book is actually quite long. So I generally try to read summaries of the book. Uh, but the articles I read recently would be on SaaS pricing. I don't remember the website name, but it was a really good article, and it came through a newsletter suggestion. So that was actually very good.
Nice. Yeah, these days newsletters are giving good information. Yeah, insights. If you want to go back and change one decision in your startup journey, what would that be?
I would have started selling more earlier. Like we in our startup, we actually waited for the product to be built at to a certain level before we started selling to actual customers. I should have started selling to before the product was built actually to in like a very so we in our case we can actually provide it as a service as well, like we will create interactive image for customers. So that is something that I should have done. It would have given a lot of knowledge that we got later on from our customers, so that and that could be helpful. So that is something that I would suggest to new entrepreneurs as well, that probably sell it before you build it.
That's good. Nice. So, for people who don't know about Mailmodo and yourself, where do they look for?
They can visit our website mailmodo.com, or they can email to me at akib at mailmodo, AQUIB at mailmodo.com.
That's nice. It was a wonderful time discussing and taking your insights out of your experience. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks to you too for giving me this opportunity to talk about myself and my company.
Thanks a lot, Akib. Okay, we are at the end of episode number 7. Thank you very much, Akib, for coming on and sharing the insights. And to our listeners, you can find out the episode summary in the description. Until we catch up soon, stay tuned, be motivated. Thank you.